Linda Burfield Hazard, nicknamed the Starvation Doctor, was born in 1867. She possessed neither medical degree nor formal training. Despite this, she would go on to become one of the most controversial figures in the history of alternative medicine. She styled herself a fasting specialist. Her self-proclaimed expertise was not grounded in any recognized medical science, but rather in her own unyielding beliefs and personal experiences. Her claim? That fasting held the cure to all ailments. From minor aches to chronic diseases, she believed that abstaining from food could purify the body and restore health. What followed was an unregulated extreme form of human experiment, a pervasive torture on hundreds and hundreds of people, and had widespread consequences for medical fraternity and general public. In Olalla, Washington, USA, high atop a hill, there stood a place shrouded in mystery and dread. This place was called as Wilderness Height, but more popularly, Starvation Height from locals. It was not a sanitarium of healing, but rather a place of starvation. Dr. Linda Burfield Hazard presided over her patients with an iron fist. The building itself was imposing, a rambling Victorian mansion with peeling paint and dark windows. Inside, the conditions were grim. The rooms were sparsely furnished, and the air was heavy with the smell of sickness and despair. Patients, weak from starvation, shuffled through the halls like ghosts. Dr. Hazard's methods were brutal. She believed starvation could cure all ailments. Her patients consumed small amounts of broth or juice for weeks. Bodies wasted away, muscles atrophied, and minds grew delirious. Yet, Dr. Hazard remained steadfast in her convictions. Dr. Linda Burfield Hazard was a formidable woman. She commanded both fear and respect. She was a licensed fasting specialist, but her treatments were based on pseudoscience and personal belief. To her patients, she was often a harbinger of death. The patients at Wilderness Height came from all walks of life. They arrived with hope, believing Dr. Hazard held the key to their recovery. But as time passed, that hope faded. They became gaunt and hollow-eyed, trapped in a nightmare. The interior of the mansion reflected the suffering within. Dimly lit corridors led to empty rooms that echoed with whispers of the past. It was a place where dreams went to die. In the end, Wilderness Height was a testament to the dangers of blind faith and unchecked authority. Dr. Hazard's journal revealed a mind consumed by obsession. The sanitarium of starvation became a symbol of the perils of quackery, a dark chapter in the history of medicine. Dr. Linda Burfield Hazard was a master manipulator. She understood the power of words and their influence over the desperate and hopeful. She wove words into a tapestry of deceit, creating a compelling story that promised health and vitality. In 1908, she published Fasting for the Cure of Disease. This book was a manifesto, a declaration of her beliefs, and a guide for those who sought to transform their lives through fasting. It was a dangerous cocktail of pseudoscience and outright lies, all dressed up in the language of health and vitality. The book became her gospel. It was her tool for spreading her message far and wide, reaching people eager for a solution to their health problems. She espoused the virtues of fasting as a cure for everything from obesity to cancer. She claimed that by abstaining from food, the body could heal itself from a multitude of ailments. She claimed that fasting would purify the body, eliminate toxins, and restore balance. It was, she declared, the key to unlocking the body's innate healing power. Her assertions were bold and confident, resonating with people tired of traditional medical treatments. Her words resonated with a public hungry for easy answers. In an era where medical knowledge was still developing, her promises of a simple, natural remedy were incredibly enticing. People, desperate for relief from their ailments, embraced her message. They were willing to try anything that offered hope. They saw her as a visionary, a woman ahead of her time. Her status as a female doctor in a male-dominated field added to her allure. They failed to see the charlatan hiding behind the facade of medical expertise. Hazard's book sold briskly. And with each copy sold, another soul was ensnared in her web of deception. Her influence grew, and so did the number of people who fell victim to her dangerous practices. Whispers began to circulate. Rumors of patients mysteriously disappearing, stories of those who entered Wilderness Heights but never emerged again. At first, these whispers were dismissed as mere gossip. After all, Dr. Hazard was a respected figure in the medical community. Her book was a testament to her extensive knowledge. Who were they to question her methods? But the whispers persisted and grew. They grew louder, more insistent with each passing day. They spoke of patients growing weaker, their bodies wasting away to nothing. They spoke of a darkness that clung to sanitarium, a darkness that hinted at something truly sinister. The truth, as it often does, lay buried beneath layers of deceit and lies. The truth was that Dr. Linda Burfield Hazard was not a healer. She was a destroyer of lives. Her treatments were not a miracle cure at all. They were a death sentence for many, and as the years passed, the shadow of Starvation Heights would grow longer, darker, and more difficult to ignore. Hazard was convicted of manslaughter in 1912 and sentenced to 2 years in prison, though she resumed her fasting practice after her release. Despite her notoriety, she continued to attract patients until her sanitarium burned down in the 1930s. Hazard died in 1938, ironically from self-imposed fasting. Her story remains a cautionary tale about the dangers of pseudoscience and unregulated medical practices, leaving a legacy of tragic loss and skepticism toward unproven health claims.